My mom lives in one of those ultra-strict gated communities in Florida, the kind where the homeowners association will fine you for having the wrong shade of mulch. Last Tuesday, I got a frantic, garbled voicemail from her. She's a type 1 diabetic and her blood sugar had crashed hard. She sounded completely disoriented and then the call just dropped. I live 10 minutes away. I grabbed my keys and broke every speed limit getting to her neighborhood. But when I pulled up to the visitor lane, the gate didn't budge. Brenda, the head of neighborhood security, stepped out of her little booth with a clipboard. I rolled down my window, panicking, and told her it was a medical emergency. I needed to get to Unit 42 right now. Brenda just sighed, adjusted her glasses, and said, "I'm sorry, sir, but residents have to pre-authorize all guests through the community app. You aren't on the list for today." I stared at her. "My mother is having a diabetic emergency. She can't use a phone, let alone an app. Open the gate." She literally crossed her arms. "Sir, if I make an exception for you, I have to make an exception for everyone. HOA policy is very clear. No app approval, no entry. Through the iron bars, I could see my mom's front door just 2 streets down. I was losing my mind. Every passing minute meant brain damage or worse. I begged her. I showed her my ID, my mom's medical proxy, everything. Brenda just kept tapping her clipboard, mumbling about unauthorized trespassers and liability. Enough. I threw my truck into park, pulled out my phone, and dialed 911. "Yes, I need police and paramedics at the Whispering Pines gate. The security guard is actively blocking access to a dying woman." Brenda's smug little smile vanished. "You can't call the police over an HOA violation," she shrieked. 10 minutes later, sirens wailed down the street. A massive fire truck and a police cruiser pulled up behind me. Brenda actually tried to stop them, holding up her little clipboard. The lead officer didn't even blink. He walked right up to her, put his hand on his radio, and said, "You open this gate in 3 seconds or you're leaving in handcuffs for reckless endangerment." She fumbled the keypad so fast she nearly dropped her glasses. We found my mom unconscious on her kitchen floor. The paramedics said if I had been 5 minutes later, she would have slipped into a fatal coma. We spent 3 agonizing days in the ICU. When my mom was finally stabilized, I drove straight back to that security booth. Brenda was there, sipping a diet soda. She had the nerve to ask if my mom was going to pay the $50 fine for the emergency vehicles damaging the grass. I didn't yell, I just handed her a folder. Inside was a massive lawsuit for gross negligence, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and a restraining order. The HOA board fired her the next morning, and they are paying my mother's hospital bills for the rest of her life.